We approach this like a team sport. We don't know how to do it any other way. What endeared me to Family First Life was that Andrew Taylor did not treat me any different than when I did, $45,000 in the quarter or $70,000 for the whole year. He was selling insurance himself, so my production didn't really count much to whether or not he was going to make a living tomorrow. And then the second thing that endeared me, my mother had passed away. Andrew gave me a job in his office because he just knew I was at my house depressed. I don't think he realized what my role would be in the company, but he was just trying to help me out. I always think about that because that's the thing that endeared me to Family First, was that this has always just been about doing the right thing and trying to help people.
Hi, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency.
Hello, everybody. Grady Polson. Welcome to the America Agency Call. I am so grateful that my long-term 9-year friend, Trey Honeycutt, is on this call with us. And I will tell you a quick story before I completely bring him on. Early in this business, before all you young Padawans could sit in flip-flops, board shorts, and backwards hats and sell from your kitchen table, there was a time back in yesteryear when we had to walk uphill in the snow both ways. We had to put on Dockers and none-bust shoes and polos and carry a Samsonite leather briefcase with brochures in it and drive our butts all across the city with paper applications and sell insurance to humans face-to-face. So, early in my career, following Andrew's lead, following the leadership of many people inside our great company, back when we were doing only $80 million a year. $80 million a year. Fast forward, see where you are today. Watch what we can do another 10 years. Buckle up. But back then, I bought leads in Tucson. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Tucson's about 2 hours away. If any of you know Tucson, for some reason, when they built the city, they built no freeways. So the city, there's one interstate that goes along the outside, and the rest of it is 35-mile-an-hour, pothole-laden, coyote-ridden, and saguaro cactus leaned-over roads all across Tucson, Arizona. I don't know why they don't want to build freeways on the gigantic city that it is with 1 million people down there, but it is what it is. So I'm down there tootling around, driving around, trying to find my clients' houses, get no-showed. I get into a home. I find out he speaks Spanish. So I'm navigating this entire presentation through his son, who speaks English. He's 13. That was a new challenge. I call Andrew. I'm like, the guy only speaks Spanish. He's like, does he have a kid? Yeah, he has a kid. Okay, perfect. How does his son translate? I'm like, okay. So Andrew stops answering my calls, but somewhere along this presentation, I reach out to Trey, and within a second, Trey answers. He calls me. He goes, Grady, you're going to want to put him with this company, not that company, because that company is not going to take him based on the health conditions. Oh, and then make sure you look out for page 3. You got an initial right there, because sometimes people, when they put the monthly premium, they put the annual premium. And then on the 5th page, make sure you get them to sign the HIPAA disclosure, because a lot of agents will remix that, and make sure you actually get a voided check, because if you don't, they're not going to take a picture. And he just coached me. And then I called him back again, and maybe 1 or 2 more times. And this man, who had no reason to help me other than the kindness of his heart for whom he is, answered, helped me in the early months of me getting started in this company. And without Trey and without his kindness, who knows where I may be today with getting frustrated with lack of support. And I think that echoes whom we are as a company, who Trey embodies as a person, and who we are all as people trying to get better for ourselves and give greater opportunities to others. So Trey, every chance I get, I'm going to thank you, because I appreciate you more than ever. I remember that black couch and that little kid right there drinking a Fanta, telling me, translating Spanish to his dad while I'm trying to navigate paper apps. And so this is how it used to be, guys. And now here you are. What's your excuse? Holy cow. So without further ado, Trey Honeycutt, FFL Coast to Coast, FFL Success Zone, incredible father, incredible husband, incredible producer, incredible manager, managing partner, full-blood managing partner with integrity a few years ago, and still burning the candle at both ends to provide a great opportunity for himself, his family, but more importantly, his agents and the new ones joining each and every day. So without further ado, can you please help me and drop a TH in the chat below and fire this man up with gratitude for whom he is and what he's about to share. Trev, how are we doing today, brother?
Man, I'm doing great now. You- I should get on with you every day and go through that. That was exciting. You always made me cry. I remember that conversation, actually exactly what we were talking about with the initial of the app and all that stuff. That's wild. You got such a good memory. It's hard to believe that was 9 years ago. It goes by.
Dude, emotional impact of repetition, dude. I'm 2 hours from home. I got a guy who kind of wants insurance, and I'm like, I need to figure this out. Will you please help me? Andrew's just tootling along. Clyde playing Angry Birds. Didn't answer my call, but we figured it out, Trey. So forever grateful to you, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey there, hope you're enjoying the training. Real quick, we came out with this insurance sales guide, and it's over 100 pages of product knowledge, scripts, referrals, how to get referrals, rebuttals, everything that you could want to get from where you are to truly top producer level. Link below, go ahead and grab it, and we'll send it out to you free.
So give us a quick, for those that don't know who you are and how incredible you are, I'd love if you give us some, little backstory, obviously how you found insurance, your journey here has been incredible, but like, I always love people because we've grown as such a company, right? You and me back then, 80 million as a company, to see it at 800 million. And it's just remarkable what has been created through Sean, Andrew, of course, Zach, the entire company. And we've done okay, but like, I'd love if people just get to know you a little bit better.
Well, thanks. I mean, I was first introduced to Family First Life in 2014. Actually, before starting with Family First, I worked at the same, quote unquote practice company that Andrew was at. And my first meeting at that company was Andrew's last meeting. That's how I was actually introduced to FFL. And Andrew knew that he was leaving to go to FFL the next day. And so he took everybody out to dinner. And the way it worked at this company was they had all day meetings on Thursdays. And so you would start at like 9 or 8 a.m. and you would go to like midnight. And it was an ordeal every week. And this was my first one. So I come to the thing and I go through it all. And then Andrew knew he was leaving. So he didn't really like the way the meetings were set up. So he took the suggestion box from the office. There were about 70 people there. And he got everybody to fill the suggestion box with things that they hated about the meetings. And he said, this will be really funny. They'll know it's a joke. Well, he knew he was leaving the next day. So we all stuffed like 400 suggestions into, like, these meetings suck. They should never let that woman talk again. She runs everybody off. Everybody should quit. I would have quit. I mean, like, literally, like, it was really hilarious. And then the next day, Andrew went to FFL. And I kind of stayed around there for like 9 months because I didn't know any better. But the way I ended up with Family First Life is I didn't want to compete with Family First Life because we were doing in-home presentations back then. And when I would get to the house to go meet somebody, I'd get there first, and then the FFL guy would come behind me and replace my business because he was getting direct mail. He was sitting in direct mail like I was. And it was a bunch of different FFL guys. So I was like, this really sucks. So then I would get there second, and they had that Americo product with cashback that I didn't have. And I couldn't beat that, so I could never replace their stuff. So finally, after like months, I called Andrew up and I was like, hey, do you remember me? And he goes, yes. And I go, hey, would you please stop replacing my stuff? He goes, no, but I didn't replace one yesterday because I felt bad. And I was like, okay. And I go, well, can I join you? And some way or another, I talked my way into it. And so that's how I ended up at Family First Life, because if you can't beat them, join them. But the thing that endeared me to Family First Life, and I won't tell too long of a story, Grady, but this is what's kept this real and the same for me the whole time, is like, my first 90 days at FFL, I made like $45,000, and that was more money than I'd ever made in my life doing anything. And what was wild about that is I failed the vast majority of the time. The vast majority of the time, the people weren't buying the insurance from me. But because I was running so many appointments and I was getting so many reps, I was just encountering people that would have bought it from anyone. And some of those happened to be some bigger premiums. So over the course of that first 90 days, I had some really good deposits. Well, the next entire year, for the whole year, I only issued $70,000 personally. And what endeared me to Family First Life was that Andrew Taylor did not treat me any different than when I did, 45,000 in the quarter or 70,000 for the whole year. And for two reasons. The first reason was he was selling insurance himself. So the best thing he ever did for me is not need me. Like, my production didn't really count much to whether or not he was going to make a living tomorrow. So he was just cool with me because he was cool with me. And then the second thing that endeared me to Andrew during that time was my mother had passed away in that second year. She'd had cancer and it came back. And then she ended up dying. And Andrew gave me a job in his office because he just knew I was at my house depressed. And I don't even think he knew what I was going to do. I don't think he realized what my role would be in the company. But he was just trying to help me out. And so anytime I think about back then, I always think about that, because that's the thing that endeared me to Family First, was that this has always just been about doing the right thing and trying to help people. And it's really never changed. And that's one of the reasons why, this organization, the FFL USA organization, your organization, we've been able to continue to scale, because we approach this like a team sport. We don't know how to do it any other way. So.
Amen,
So,
bro. It is, well, a testimony to, to everything. When you worked at that office, you created from original contracting. I mean, the contracting module, HCMS, NLC, SureLC, was modeled after a WordPress form delivery email, SMTP email server that Trey created. The video that Sean Mike has right now that he filmed, that every agent has access to as my website and your gateway, modeled after a video that Trey originally filmed. It was our original opportunity to do it that you crushed it at. I went from 0 to VP and beyond with that video, just getting every prospect I could to watch an introductory overview video about what our company was. Hey, this may not be for you, but check out my buddy Trey. Filmed a little video and watch it. So, I mean, your hand is all over this company. And without you, who knows where we would be, where I would be, et cetera. So forever grateful.